Today, I will cover the U.S. losses in Operation Epic Fury, some of which are still not confirmed by the United States. But the independent sources reported heavy personal, military, financial, and strategic losses. Let's begin, but first subscribe. The U.S. cares for its military personnel more than any army to prevent casualties and personnel losses. But the intensification of military exchanges in late February and March 2026, 13 U.S. service members have been reportedly killed in Iranian missile and drone attacks and friendly fire. In addition, nearly 300 American personnel have been wounded in these operations across the Middle East. The U.S., being a dominant military power in military hardware and equipment, has still at least 3 F-15E Strike Eagle fighter jets have been destroyed, and 1 F-35 has suffered serious combat damage. More than a dozen MQ-9 Reaper drones have been lost, both in air engagements and in strikes on the ground. KC-135 aerial refueling tankers have been destroyed or damaged, including in friendly fire and collision incidents linked to the high-tempo environment. Key THAAD-class missile defense radar and launcher sites in locations such as Al Udeid, Qatar, and other Gulf facilities have been damaged, reducing our regional defensive coverage. Analysts estimate that direct hardware losses and repair bills in the first 2 to 3 weeks range from $1.4 to $2.9 billion US, with some assessments suggesting nearly $2 billion in damage after just the first 6 days of Iranian counterstrikes. In terms of financial and economic costs, the first 6 days of sustained operations at roughly $11.3 to $12.7 billion, with total campaign costs projected to exceed $18 billion if the current pace continues. The precision-guided munitions portion alone is staggering. Several large strike packages have consumed over $3 billion in weapons, with Tomahawk missile costs exceeding $3.6 million per missile. The closure and threat to the Strait of Hormuz have pushed crude oil above $100 per barrel. With credible risk, it could spike toward $200 per barrel if the conflict drags on. This energy shock is directly feeding inflation, raising fuel and transportation costs for American families and businesses, and increasing pressure on the U.S. economy. The war has strategic and political impacts on Trump's career. Polls show that only about 27% of Americans currently support this war, while a majority either oppose it or are uncertain, creating strong domestic pressure for clarity and de-escalation. Iran is using this conflict to portray the United States as an aggressor, deepening anti-American narratives in parts of the Middle East and beyond, and complicating our alliance management. Let's hope the war ends soon. Please subscribe, like, and share for such videos.